Hey guys, it's Jenners. I am making Coquito today, and if you're not familiar with Coquito, it is a Puerto Rican rum drink. It's like an eggnog with rum in it, and it's usually consumed during the holidays, so I wanted to go ahead and make my version. I will say I am not Puerto Rican, and I did not know what Coquito was until about maybe 4 or 5 years ago where I work. The mailman, who is Puerto Rican, brought in little containers for everybody of pistachio coquito, and I thought it was delicious, and then I looked up a couple recipes and I decided to make it myself. So I have been making it ever since, every holiday season, and sometimes I even make it when it's not the holidays because I really love it. It's really delicious. It's not really a drink you should have if you're on a diet. There's definitely a lot of fattening things in it, and I do have kind of set up here. I'm going to make some today. I just spent probably an hour cracking open a coconut for this recipe. Is something I've never done before, and let me tell you, if you've never dabbled with coconuts, I don't really recommend it, at least for your first time making this. But let's go ahead and start out. It is time to talk about Coquito. So the first thing I have here are 4 egg yolks. So I've already separated the eggs here, and I'm actually going to put those in first, and of course I just poured it all over my finger. That was cute. So I'm not a chef, we'll say that. And I'm going to grab a spoon. Be right back. Okay, so I have a spoon and I have 4 egg yolks. I'm going to go ahead and just pour the egg yolks in here. It's good to get pasteurized eggs. These eggs I bought just yesterday, and I feel like they're pretty fresh. And I'm also going to put a lot of alcohol in this. I feel like that's going to kill anything that might be, lurking in here, but I'm going to go ahead and get as much out as I can. I'm doing the eggs first, and then I'm going to do my spices, because I just feel like when you pour the spices in with the egg yolks, it is going to kind of adhere to that, and it's not going to, a lot of times when you use liquid and you pour your dry ingredients, it just kind of, poofs everywhere. So let me tell you what I'm using. My recipe fell on the floor. So here I have 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground clove, 1/8 of a teaspoon of ground nutmeg, 1/8 of a teaspoon of allspice, a pinch of salt, and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. So that is what is in here. I already went ahead and poured that in. And so I'm just going to go ahead and dump that in. And I'm going to blend this just a little bit. Get the spices incorporated there with the eggs. And then, easy as pie, the next couple steps are just pouring stuff into the blender. And so I'm going to bring this over so you can see it a little bit better here. What we have here is 1 can of evaporated milk. So I'm just going to pour that in. I have 1 can here of sweetened condensed milk. Now this is what gives it the sweetness. It's very thick, and so what I did was just kind of put it in like a warm tub of water for a little bit, just to kind of let it melt a little bit. But then I'm also going to use my spoon again, because I really want to get all this in here, because I really like things sweet, and so the more of this the better. Now the next step, I would normally open this up, I would pour this whole can in, but and this did separate. You can almost kind of see how there's almost 2 layers. There's kind of a frothy layer on the top. So I spent like an hour making this, so I really hope that this is going to add something special to this recipe. So I'm going to dump that in. And then I'm also going to use cream of coconut. So you can also get that in a can, but this here is a squeeze bottle. So I'm not going to put this whole entire thing in. This is 22 ounces. I'm going to put most of it. And again, there's really no, right or wrong here, but I'm going to squeeze in quite a bit. And it's nice to have the squeeze bottle because you're just squeezing it. So I did quite a bit there. I think that's maybe a little bit more. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and blend this up, and then I'm going to show you how to bottle it, and we're going to add, of course, some booze. We're going to add some rum. So I'm going to go ahead and blend this up all nice so everything combines together. And we'll be right back. Okay, and we're back, so I have everything all blended in together, and what I forgot to tell you before I started this video is that I'm actually doing 3 different types of Coquito. The first one is just regular Coquito, no extra flavors or anything like that. And then I'm going to split up my second batch, and what I'm doing is pistachio Coquito, and I'm also going to do a dark chocolate Coquito, and I'm going to show you what my secret recipe is for that. I have a very special ingredient that I like to use when I add different flavors. So right now I have about 6 cups of our mixture, and I'm going to pour about 3 cups and put it to the side for our kind of flavored ones that we're doing. So I'm just going to give it another kind of swish around here. And go ahead and pour about half of this into this container here. It's very thick, kind of frothy. So we're going to do about 3 cups. I'm actually going to do almost 4 cups in here because I want more flavored ones than the regular Coquito. So we still have some plenty in here. Give it another whirl. So I'm going to set this aside for a moment, but the really fun part now is we're adding Bacardi rum. Most people, I think, kind of the traditional way to make this is to use white rum. I like to use Bacardi Gold, and I also have Bacardi Black. I'm just going to use a little bit of the black. I'm going to see if I can kind of use most of the gold. So with the batch I made, I would use about maybe 2 to 3 cups of rum. And so what I'm going to do right now is just add 1 cup for now. I'm going to taste it, and I'm going to see if I want to add a little bit more. So it really all just depends on how much rum you want in there. But I do like mine, a little strong. So I'm going to do 1 cup, and I'm going to do probably mostly the gold. But I do want to add in just a little bit of the black. I just like the flavor of it. So we're just going to add a little bit. The funny thing is, this is a Puerto Rican beverage, and I was in Puerto Rico just a couple months ago. I was on the Harmony of the Seas, and it was the first time I'd ever been to Puerto Rico, so we were not there long. The ship docked, we got off, we kind of walked around. We went to a couple different places. We got some chocolate, and we tried some drinks, and just kind of went shopping. But the Bacardi factory is right there. You can see it from where the ship docked, so maybe next time we'll check that out. But I do have my cup of rum. I'm going to pour it in. This is the fun part here. Adding our rum. I'm spilling a little bit. Alright. I'm also going to add one tablespoon of vanilla. And I got this in Cozumel, also on a cruise. I've had this for quite a while. It's pure vanilla, or vanilla, however you want to say it. So this is actually a half a tablespoon, so I'm just going to do 2 of these because I want one full tablespoon. Just gives it kind of that yummy vanilla flavor. And when I make my pistachio and my dark chocolate, I'm going to add some more vanilla. Smells delicious. Love going on cruises. I get all kinds of fun stuff. And so I'm going to let this spin. So I'm just going to use the spoon here and just give it a little taste and make sure that I have enough rum in there. I think it needs just a slight bit more rum. I'm just going to add just a little bit. Just a little. Just a taste. And I'm going to let that incorporate again just for a second. Now I just have some wine bottles that I've kept for whatever reason, I guess for this reason to reuse them, but I have some wine bottles here that I just rinsed out, cleaned them up really nice, and I'm going to go ahead and just pour my Coquito into this bottle. Some people will give them away as gifts. Some people might have like a family gathering or a party, so you might want to get something, more like this that can seal up. You can get them in quite a few different places, or also, when I originally tasted Coquito, it came out of a little bottle like this, but I do recommend putting it in glass. I just think it tastes better that way. And so you could always put a little label, Merry Christmas, Happy Birthday, whatever the occasion might be. This is more of a holiday beverage, but I've made it before in the middle of the summer. I just really like it a lot. So I'm gonna let this swing around a few more times, and I'm gonna pour it into the bottle. I'm just gonna Be real careful. So, this is a Ninja blender, just in case you're wondering. I've had it quite a while. I actually got it from QVC. And so let's see if we can pour it in here without making a mess. It can be done. So this will probably fill up this whole bottle. And it is, whoops, I spilled a little bit. It's good to refrigerate it overnight, although you could drink it right away, but I do like mine cold, and I feel like it thickens up just a little bit as you let it set in the refrigerator. So look at that, it's perfect. Perfect amount to fill up this bottle. There we go. Good to the last drop there. All right, well now I have to get out my secret ingredients for our dark chocolate and our pistachio coquito, so I will be right back. I am back. I just finished bottling up my regular coquito and I just put it in the fridge, and now I am ready to show you what my secret ingredient is for the next two flavored ones that I'm making. And what I'm using is Talenti Gelato, and this is Sicilian pistachio. I really like this because I think it just adds a really nice flavor. I've made it every single year, pistachio coquito with the Talenti Gelato, and it is absolutely delicious. There's really no certain amount that you should or shouldn't put in. I'm just going to kind of eyeball it, and I'm just going to put in as much as I think I like, and I'll taste it, and if I feel like I need more, I'll add a little bit more. So I did let these sit out at room temperature just for a couple of minutes because they were like rock hard, so just makes it a little bit easier. And if you saw earlier, of course, I did have the half of our mixture set aside, so I went ahead and just blended up half of that. I already poured in my rum. I did about a cup of rum, and I'm going to go ahead and add my gelato. So I'm going to start with the pistachio one because I have made this one before and I know I really like it. So I'm just going to go ahead and just do like a few scoops, possibly like half the container. And so it is going to give it kind of a greenish color. So if you have them in your fridge and you're not sure which is which, you should pretty easily be able to figure this out. And this even has like little pistachio chunks in here, so just know when you are drinking it, you are going to get little chunks, not big chunks. So I'm just going to add in, I'm going to say about half of this jar, and we're going to give it a whirl here and just see how it comes out. And a lot of times I end up adding more. I just really like the pistachio flavor, so I'm going to go ahead and just see. This is the first time I've split this batch up, so I don't want to put too much for the pistachio to be overpowering, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to taste it just to see if it needs anything. And I can see like there's definitely little chunks of pistachios in here, which is fine. That's really good. I'm just going to add a tiny, tiny bit more, but it's actually really good just like that. But when I make a flavored one like pistachio, I do like to have kind of a strong pistachio flavor so that it, does taste different than the original. So I'm just going to put a little bit more in. That should do it. And then of course I will save this for later, so this way I'll have a little snack for later as well. So we'll hold on to that. Put the top back on here. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and pour this into this container here. Again, I'm going to pour very carefully because I'm not using a funnel. It would probably be a better idea to use a funnel, but I'm a very careful pourer. So here we go. This is going to almost fill this up, so I judged the sizes pretty well. Now I'm going to rinse this out before I make my dark chocolate because I think not that the pistachio and dark chocolate would be a bad thing, but I don't want any chunks in my dark chocolate. So I'm going to go ahead and rinse this out and I'll be right back. I'm going to go ahead and really just do the same thing with the dark chocolate. I'm going to scoop out about half of the container here, and this container is 1 pint. So really like half a pint I'm going to use with, again, about another 1 cup of the booze. And I'm going to blend that up and I'll show you what it all looks like when I'm done. Alright my friends, I am back one more time with my dark chocolate coquito. This is the first time that I've made it with chocolate, and again, I did use the Talenti gelato. Double dark chocolate this one was. I had no idea that it had little chocolate chips in it, but that is just fine. I did just taste this and it is amazing. I love chocolate and I think this has been missing from my life way too long. I'm gonna go ahead and pour it into my Bacardi container here. So I just dumped the rest of this out and it can be reused now for my Coquito. So it has multiple uses. Here we go. Pour that in. Now I've seen other people make chocolate Coquito by melting chocolate in different methods, but I just tasted this and I thought it tasted amazing. I don't know what it tastes like if you melt chocolate or any other way that you might make it with chocolate, but I think this was a pretty good way to do it. So pretty good. I just about filled that up. I got a couple just tiny little chunks of chocolate coming out at the end here. So the best way to enjoy this is probably to put it in your refrigerator overnight, kind of let it set up a little bit, and then you can pour it into a glass, put a little bit of maybe cinnamon on top with a cinnamon stick, and that's a nice way to serve it up. So yeah, this is my first time making chocolate Coquito, but I've made the regular Coquito and the pistachio Coquito about every year for the past maybe 4 or 5 years. And again, I am not Puerto Rican, I just really enjoy this drink. I have friends who are that have kind of introduced me to it. I had never heard of it until about 5 years ago, and I really enjoy it a lot, so I like to make it every season. And I hope you enjoyed watching my video. Let me go ahead and show you my other bottles here. I put them in the fridge already, but this was my just regular Coquito. And then this one, I think I told you earlier that you can tell the difference because this is going to look green and it really doesn't. So I would say either label them or just kind of know which is which. I mean, obviously this one looks like chocolate and it is chocolate, but I really appreciate you watching. Please give my video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be talking a lot about going on cruises. And I did talk about a couple of things that I bought while I was on a cruise when I was making this with you today. And I made a huge mess. I cracked open a coconut earlier and I just made a huge mess all over my floor. So I'm going to leave you now with the best way to clean up a mess like I just made. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.